guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be reviewing the new foundation from NARS, which I'm so excited about, the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. As always, I'll be doing a wear test, show you how it looks in flash photo, natural light, a before and after. There will be timestamps down below if you'd like to skip ahead to any of those sections and you don't want to hear what I have to say. I will not be offended. If you enjoy this style of video, be sure to subscribe. I do new foundation reviews all the time, so let's go ahead and get started. So I'm a huge fan of NARS foundation products. I will link my NARS playlist down below, but this is the latest from them. It comes in a beautiful glass bottle. It has a pump on it, which I really appreciate. And today I have the shade Syracuse. Now, if you saw my Instagram sort of reel about this, I was talking about how I really love NARS foundations because if you're Syracuse in one, you're Syracuse in another. But I felt like this foundation might have oxidized a little bit on application. So they actually sent me this for a review, but I went to Sephora and picked it out in the shade Aruba as well. So I'm going to kind of play around with it a little bit here today, just because I felt like, I believe Syracuse is listed as warm, Aruba is listed as cool. This is medium deep 1, so the next shade down is Aruba medium 6, which is a cool shade. And I tend to prefer things that have a more kind of peachy, neutral, but still a little golden undertone over things that pull more orange or more yellow. Now, like I said, historically, Syracuse has been a really great shade for me, so I was a little bit surprised. I don't know if it's the formulation and the oxidization of the product or whatever it may be, but anyways, we'll get into that today. It retails for $65 Canadian, $49 American. That price difference. I also have the light reflecting powder here today, and it does claim to be photo friendly. So I'm really curious to test that out, and I will do a flash photo test. It comes in 36 different shades, which I really like. NARS does a really great shade range in my opinion, from very fair all the way up to very deep. It's very appealing looking at the store. So let's go ahead and get into application, or at least let me try and figure out what my shade's gonna be. So I want to show you what they look like on my hand, the two different shades. So this one here is Syracuse and this one here is Aruba. I have them kind of partially dried on my hand. And I want to show you what they look like right off of application by comparison. Do you see what I mean? This is Syracuse straight out of the tube, out of the bottle, sorry. And that's it there when it's more dry. Oxidizes, or at least turns a little bit, warms up on the skin. And then there's Aruba. You can see it's more wet versus more dry. So my recommendation would be to potentially entertain going a shade down. Now this is only my experience with the foundation. It could only be these couple of shades. I'm going to use Aruba today. I will link to that Instagram video down below if you'd like to see it, where I'm wearing the shade Syracuse. I did feel like upon application it started to look really warm. I did add in lighter concealer and bronzer, and I felt comfortable by the end of the day. I did think it looked good, but I am going to wear the shade Aruba today, so then that way you can get a bit of a comparison. And it's not that, actually, why don't I just, wait up. I have other NARS foundations here, so why don't I just compare? So, Longwear Radiant, Soft Matte, Light Reflecting. And I can even just tell, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to tell, but I really feel like as this starts to dry, even just ever so slightly, I can see around the edges how it's starting to warm up more than the others. Foundation says to shake well, so I'm gonna do it. It's pretty liquidy, if you can hear it in there. And it only pumps out little pumps, which I really enjoy, so you're not gonna overdo it. I'm gonna use my e.l.f. sponge. And I've got the sheet that the brand sent me here. It says that it's photo-friendly technology, adjusts to complexion and tone in response to intensity of light. Skin will never appear washed out. Light reflecting complex helps to reflect like a prism, addressing luminosity at the surface of the skin and help defend against natural external factors. So fancy. Vegan formula, skincare ingredients. Let me know what you think about all the like skincare foundation kind of stuff, because to me, like, skincare is skincare, makeup is makeup. I like that they're kind of like considering the skin definitely when it comes to makeup, but I don't expect my makeup to improve my skin. I just don't want it to make my skin worse. 81% naturally derived ingredients, suitable for daily use, including sensitive skin. What does it say on Sephora for their recommended skin types? It's medium coverage, natural finish, which is definitely my favorite when it comes to foundation. Good for redness, liquid formula, good for dark spots, dullness, uneven texture. It's got oat in there for redness, which is nice. It's not saying on the Sephora website whether they're recommending for like oily, etc., etc. But I like a sponge for application. This e.l.f. sponge is actually really nice. It does shear out product a little bit, but it's a really great, affordable sponge. Yeah, like, I'm definitely happy with this shade match. It's still quite warm considering it's a cool foundation, but I think the finish on the skin is beautiful. I think if I had to choose, if I could only buy one brand of foundation, I think it would be NARS. Their tinted moisturizer is amazing. Everything I've tried, I gotta say, I've really liked. Back when I first started watching YouTube, all I wanted was NARS Sheer Glow. All I wanted. And there's actually no way, not only could I not afford it, but there was no Sephora in Newfoundland. They only got a Sephora in 2016, like the year I left. And remember, it didn't have a pump. And I think people used to buy the Estee Lauder pumps to put on it, but now we got a pump. I really love the way that this looks. Looks really natural. It's the kind of foundation that I could wear on its own without like having to do a full face of makeup. As right now I'm wearing a dress over sweatpants. Working from home. I have like two little breakouts here and they're quite like sore and red. They're the kind that like have a hard time being covered up. But they do look pretty covered. I don't want to put too much on my face. I always say this, but the less foundation you can use, the better. If you have trouble areas, build it up there. But just for a better, more natural look. So I think this foundation looks stunning. This is kind of what I was expecting from the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin. I will link that review down below. That was my most recent one. This to me looks so good close up. It doesn't feel like it looks like makeup. That doesn't really make sense. But it has that more natural skin-like look than what I was expecting, and kind of what I was expecting from the Charlotte Tilbury, where the Charlotte Tilbury felt a little heavy. It had it looked a little bit heavier on the skin. Like in the close-up it looked good, but this I feel like is a little bit more buildable. It's a little bit more of a true medium coverage. I would say it's on like the lighter medium versus the Charlotte Tilbury was a little bit more full medium, if that makes sense. I know I say if that makes sense all the time. My apologies, and I'm working on it. But yeah, I think it looks really, really beautiful. So I'm gonna go ahead and take some flash photos, do the rest of my makeup, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back with the rest of my makeup on now. I think I really like the way that this shade looks. I feel like I could get away with Syracuse, but Aruba is definitely gonna be my preference shade. As for how it looked in photos, I thought it looked really, really beautiful here in my kind of studio lighting. I will say I was a little bit surprised when I took the flash photo. Not that I thought it had flashback, but it definitely didn't hold its warmness in the same way. That being said, it's very rare that I'm ever going to take a flash photo in a dark room with no powder, concealer, or anything else on my face, but it is kind of a good indicator just in case that is really, really important to you, and something to test out for sure if you have like a big major event or anything like that. If you're curious about the makeup that I'm wearing, by the way, it all will be linked down below, and I did do an Instagram live. I tend to do those early morning during the week because that is when, excuse me, that is when I film. So that will all be linked down below. But I think this looks really, really beautiful, and I will check back with you guys in some natural light in a couple hours. Hello, checking in with you in some natural light. I've had the foundation on for 4-ish hours so far, 4-ish hours. I don't know, math is not my thing, but I think it looks really, really good. Blush, bronzer, highlight, everything is still nicely in place. It hasn't continued to deepen up or warm up anymore. I think that everything just looks so good. I'm really, really into this foundation. I did wear it all day yesterday and I had a mask on and off. I did about an hour's worth of walking out in like minus 25-degree weather, and I thought it looked pretty good at the end of the day there too. I think I lost a little bit at the tip of my nose. I seem to always lose that with foundations, or sometimes it could honestly be me not even putting it there in the first place when I'm blending it out with my sponge, but could be a little human error there. But I think things look really good. My oils have started to push through a little bit, but it doesn't feel oily or heavy or cakey. It doesn't look that way either. I'll get up a little closer so you can see, but I think things look really good. If I lost anything around here, I did end up tweezing my eyebrows a little bit. A little bit oily around my nose. But yeah, I think things look really good, so I will check back with you in a couple hours. Hello, I am back and it is the end of the day. I thought I would do a little bit of blotting and powdering just to show you how I would kind of touch this up. I've had it on for quite a few hours and I gotta say, I love my makeup today. I love the way everything turned out. I love how everything looks. Everything has lasted really nicely. I'm definitely starting to get a little bit oily, so like I mentioned, I am going to blot. I feel like maybe ever so slightly it wants to settle into these lines right here, but I don't feel like, again, like I mentioned, around midday that it has continued to oxidize or anything like that. I've had my hands on my face quite a bit today in just editing and doing a little bit of lying around, I won't lie to you. And like I said, I did lose a little product around my nose, or I didn't apply it there in the first place. I think it looks really good after blotting. Those are just some Mary Kay blotting sheets. And then I've got the Charlotte Tilbury powder here, but I really like this foundation. I wore it yesterday for a long time and it held up really nicely. I think it looks really beautiful on the skin. The bummer is that the shades are a little bit different than normal. And that, I mean, I did test it out in my bathroom. I'm not sure exactly how it would go with flash photo, but I don't feel like it's necessarily looking like it's the most photo-friendly foundation ever, and I'm only saying that because they're claiming to do that, to say that it does that, but I do think it looks really, really beautiful, especially in person, in video. In the pictures that I took during the day, I took some selfies I couldn't resist. I do think it looks really beautiful, and if you're curious if I would pick this over the Charlotte Tilbury, I think I would. Like the shade, like the finish on the skin a little bit better. I think it's really, really beautiful and definitely something to try. So let me know if you plan on trying out this foundation. Let me know what you would like to see reviewed next. I have the new Shiseido Skin Tint. I've got the Tom Ford foundation stick, which I really want to review. Is there anything new from the drugstore? Anything a little more affordable coming out? I haven't seen a lot, but overall I definitely really enjoy this foundation. I think if you have really oily skin, I would probably stick to their soft matte foundation. That's beautiful. Looking for something a little lighter coverage, the Skin Tint from them is glorious and you get a ton of product in there. Definitely something from NARS for all skin types. This is great for normal, combo, and dry would probably enjoy it as well. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!